traditional network. But the next day we're on Hulu, and a little bit after that we're on HBO Max and Disney Plus. So the amount for a re-air on the network is $13,500, and the amount that you're paid for that episode being on new media streaming is $700.
Hollywood is broken. And no, it's not because Chris Pratt was cast as Mario or that Emperor Palpatine somehow came back from the dead in the last Star Wars movie, although those are both admittedly bad.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
It's because the television industry has evolved in a way that abandons the very people who bring richness and diversity in characters and stories to our screens. Yes, we're talking about streaming. And while I've been a part of the onslaught of people sitting at the feet of HBO Max on many Sunday nights waiting for the next episode of Game of Thrones to drop, I would hope and expect that the people who wrote that masterpiece are being rewarded for captivating all of our eyeballs. Well, they're not. Not like they used to be anyway.
The economic pillars that our industry have been built upon have, in the last decade, been turned on their head.
Television writers are being paid less money for these complex, multifaceted, unique narratives that bring companies like Warner Bros., Disney, and Netflix billions upon billions of dollars every year. And now, writers are understandably at their limits. And soon, that could affect you.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Right now, Hollywood writers are in a heated contract dispute with the 9 largest production studios. At the center of that fight is something called residuals, one of the most important ways that writers get paid.
Residuals are payments that are made every quarter by the companies to the writers for the content that they create.
The WGA contracts that currently exist were built upon a model where the content providers generated the revenue through ad sales. So if I write an episode of television that re-airs over and over and over again, every time that episode re-airs, the content provider generates revenue, and a little piece of that revenue gets shared with everyone that contributed to the creation of it. Now, their revenue is made almost exclusively through monthly or annual subscriptions. So there is no re-airing. People can watch what they want when they want, which means that we're not getting the same residuals that we once would have.
What I'm accustomed to as a broadcast writer, as a residual, like $20,000 for an episode of TV, in streaming, I just got a check for the same project for $23. And what's happening a lot is that at a certain point, after a certain couple of years, a streamer has to continue paying residuals, and instead of doing that, they much rather just pull the product from their app. And so that's what we're seeing a lot of. Content that we create 5 years from now, completely gone, and we are not getting any residual compensation out of it.
So if you have a favorite show that you loved that you can't find anywhere anymore, it's because those content providers don't want to pay the creators of the show for the right to air it.
Remember when HBO Max removed its very own Emmy Award-winning hit Westworld from its streaming library? Hate to break it to you, that was over residuals. Another issue at the heart of the writer's contract dispute is something called mini rooms, which is basically a cute way to refer to writer's rooms that essentially do the same work with a fraction of the workers in a fraction of the time to turn over a larger profit.
Historically speaking, a writer's room was generally only constructed for a program that had been ordered to series, that you were guaranteed to see at least the first few episodes of on television. It meant that the content providers spent millions of dollars on a pilot episode. They watched the pilot episode, they said, we love this, let's order it to series, and a writer's room was created. Increasingly, they are saying, you know what, let's not spend those millions of dollars on a pilot. Let's spend significantly less money on a number of mini rooms where we will hire a smaller number of writers per project, and we will order 2 or 3 or 4, however many scripts without actually shooting any of it. And then we can look and read those scripts and decide whether or not this is a season of television we want to invest tens or hundreds of millions of dollars in.
And what writers were seeing a lot of were the streamers were only going to pay weekly compensation to all writers regardless of level. So you could be a co-executive producer with 10 years of experience who might have sold some development, so you have a proven track record. You could be making the same as a staff writer who this is their very first job right out the gate.
We should be able to say, hey, I'm making more money now than I was making 10 years ago, because that's how careers work in every industry. You don't work the same job for 10 years and make less money than you did when you first started doing it.
Yes,
and that's what's happening to us.
It's fine if they want to hire us weekly on shows that have not been ordered to series yet, that they're just collecting scripts for. But we need to be compensated in the same way that we were compensated when we were writing shows that they were putting on the air. It's the same time and creative energy being put into those scripts. The fact that these content providers might be choosing not to make them doesn't mean that we're working less hard on them and that we should be paid less for the creation of them.
At the end of the day, this all comes down to greed. In 2000, the combined entertainment operating profits of the production studios was $5 billion. By 2019, with the advent of streaming and the addition of companies like Netflix in the mix, they were up to $30 billion. Streaming has boosted corporate profits, but writers are actually earning less now.
It is absolutely undeniable that the streaming platforms are generating mountains of money through their subscription base. What they're choosing to do with that money is an entirely different question.
There's this misconception outside of Hollywood that writers are bougie, six-figure people who live in palaces in Beverly Hills, and why are they complaining about what more compensation? And that's couldn't be far from the truth.
The fight that the writers in this industry are battling is probably not very different from the fight that they or friends or relatives have been facing with the consolidation of power and money. There are fewer and fewer corporations holding more and more of the purse strings and protecting the coffers and the coins more and more greedily. And that's certainly not unique to our industry.
We are making less money now than we were making 10 years ago, and the industry is shifting to prioritize streaming, and none of our pay structure or the amount of money that we're paid reflects those changes. They are treating everything like TV operates the same as it did 10 years ago. And
for the record, like, the easiest way to describe it is like they just want similar contracts to what they had on television. That doesn't even mean like they want the same amount of money. It just means they want a similar pay structure. As in, like, they want a similar cut of the percentages of the profits that they are currently not getting, that they're getting shut out from on streamer services, because the media, or just like every other fucking industry, or Hollywood in general, just like any other fucking industry, does the same thing when there's like, oh, there's a new innovative product. Let's use this as an opportunity to fuck over some of the workers that are playing a role in creating that product.
I think everyone, even viewers, know that's just not true. The industry needs to catch up.
If push comes to shove, a strike is incredibly important to show these companies that we mean business and that we won't stand for them trying to take our livelihoods in Hollywood.
Let's finish this off with the
15
Democracy Now!
Years,
Interview.
Over 11,000.
And then after that, we'll get to the Aiden Ross drama.
Hollywood, TV, and movie writers have gone on strike. The strike began at midnight Pacific time over contract and after contract negotiations failed. In a statement, the Writers Guild of America said writers are facing a, quote, existential crisis, in part because pay and working conditions have deteriorated in recent years due to the rise of streaming services like Netflix and Amazon Prime. The union said, quote, the company's behavior has created a gig economy inside a union workforce, and their immovable stance in this negotiation has betrayed a commitment to further devaluing the profession of writing, unquote. The strike is expected to halt Hollywood productions and force late-night TV shows to go dark. They'll run tape. On Monday, Jimmy Fallon, the host of The Tonight Show, voiced support for his writers ahead of the start of the strike.
I support my writers, but we have a lot of staff and crew that will be affected by this, but they got to get a fair deal. So, I'll do whatever I can to support them, and hopefully there is no strike and they can figure out a deal.
I hope not either.
Yeah, I need my writers. I need them real bad.
You need your writers.
Yeah, I got no show without my writers.
That was Jimmy Fallon at the Met Gala, where Quinta Brunson also spoke. She's the creator of the award-winning ABC hit comedy, Abbott Elementary.
I'm a member of WGA and support WGA and, them getting what us getting what we need. So I hope that no one wants to strike, but I hope that we're able to rectify this, whatever that means.
That was Quinta Brunson, creator of the award-winning ABC hit comedy Abbott Elementary. We're joined now by Brittany Nichols, writer on Abbott Elementary, who's now on strike, a Los Angeles-based captain for Writers Guild of America's WET. Brittany Nichols, welcome to Democracy Now! The strike is just hours old at this point. Also, congratulations on Abbott Elementary. What an amazing, fantastic show about the Philadelphia school.
Okay, when you say, you know what, TV and movies have been shit lately, so maybe they need a reality check. Brother, are you fucking stupid? It's like saying, well, the Lakers are not playing up to, Lakers are not a good example right now. You know what, the Grizzlies are not playing well enough. They need a reality check. They should get paid less. Is an idiotic assessment, because it's not just the fucking Grizzlies that are getting paid less. The Lakers are getting paid less too. And not only that, but also, they are making demands, okay? They're making demands, and whether you like it or not, whether you like the content or not, the content is still making money. This is not about, extra money that is going to come from, somewhere else that is going to materialize. This is money that is going back to the fucking shareholders in the form of profits, okay? Stop saying ni hao and Dylan Brooks is going to China, okay? Shut the fuck up. That has nothing to do with anything. Do you understand? Because whether you like it or not doesn't change the reality that, a lot of people clearly do, and it makes money. Please understand that. There's plenty of fucking dog shit TV shows that I do not watch, okay? Like the NBA, as a matter of fact, which is scripted television. Everybody knows this. This year, they're scripting a LeBron victory, so it's fine.
Schools and the amazing teachers and the kids inside. But I wanted to ask you, starting with what's happening right now and what you're demanding as you go to the picket lines.
We are demanding that this industry be one that can sustain a career. It's sort of as simple as that. We have a consistently profitable business, but right now the actions of the studios are ones that seem like they only care about Wall Street. They're chasing a rabbit they're never going to catch, and in that pursuit, they're running over the workers of this industry.
So explain exactly how it works. People watch these TV shows and movies nonstop, but really have very little idea of what goes into making them. And why exactly streaming has, you talk about creating a gig economy. Explain what you mean.
So the studios have devalued our contributions. They have shifted the industry to prioritize streaming while not following that up with the actions of making sure that our pay reflects those changes. A lot of the ways that writers are able to sustain a career are through residuals. That means that we're taking part in that profit participation when a show gets re-aired or a show gets sold or a movie gets aired. That's when we get a little bit of that pie, and the amount of the pie that we're getting in streaming is almost non-existent.
Yeah, that's fucking bullshit. That's it. People are like, oh, well, these fucking poor streamers, they're not making enough money. No, that's bullshit. What do you mean? TV didn't want to do that either. They used the same arguments back then. And guess what? Strikes happened and things changed. It's literally just about a percentage of the profits that they want returned back to them. Profits that they are generating. The entire point of a fucking writer's strike or any kind of industry-wide strike is to show the bosses that without them, there is no value. Without them, you lose $2 billion fucking dollars. That's it.
And talk about the various streaming companies, who you are actually negotiating with. Name names.
Well, there's Hulu, Peacock, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, a lot of pluses, Netflix and Amazon, I believe, are the big ones.
And explain the position they're taking.
I mean, they're taking the position of rejecting our proposals and refusing to make a counter. With all of our major proposals, that is the feedback that we've gotten thus far. They have forced us to go on strike by not engaging. They sort of have said, we do not care that you all can no longer make a career in this industry. They just want to continue to get as much work out of us for the least amount of money. I think that that's not something that's unique to our industry. It's something that has been happening and will continue to happen. And we're standing up to it. We have to take a stand or there won't be television writers anymore. They will negotiate us out of existence.
And Brittany, explain how the networks are connected to the streaming services. It's not two entirely separate spheres.
Yeah, so the studios all own these services. I mean, they came up with it. Writers didn't come up with these streaming services. They came up with them. That is a large part of the profit that they are now bringing in, and they continue to invest in these services. So, you know, every 3 years, you probably hear these studios crying poor and behaving as if they're like these mom and pop businesses while they rake in billions and billions of profits. But they are the ones who caused this shift, and so they should be responsible for paying the workers that are now providing the product that they continue to turn out and put on these streaming services fairly.
In March, you shared a graph of writers working at MBA minimum. MBA stands for Minimum Basic Agreement. Talk about the problems with compensation in your industry, especially for writers of color like yourself. You also tweeted, our minimum wage has become our ceiling.
Yes, so it used to be that I think 10 years ago, a third of writers were working at that baseline, and now half of all writers are working at that baseline. TV writer pay has fallen 23% when you adjust for inflation. So it's really affecting every writer from staff writer all the way up to showrunners.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah. The last time negotiations was before Breaking Bad, Stranger Things, Game of Thrones. It's so crazy. People are like, well, content has been bad. Yeah, I mean, some good content came after that as well. So, but qualitative assessments are bullshit in this regard because it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Whether you like the show or not, doesn't matter. Big Bang Theory is one of the fucking most popular shows in television. You know what I mean? It doesn't fucking matter. We all make fun of it. Bazinga, you know what I mean? But guess what? Bazinga made a lot of fucking money. So those writers deserve to take a percentage of those fucking profits. Okay? WGA has made a list of demands that will cost $500 million a year across an entire industry. Every studio, every streaming service, every film, every show, every writer, total cost $500 million. I don't agree with that. It might be a little bit, no, I don't think it's only $500 million. The studios can easily afford it. That part is true. It's $469 million. It's on the document. I mean, WGA proposals would gain writers approximately $429 million per year. AMPTP's offer is approximately $86 million per year, 48% of which is from the minimums increase. It doesn't matter how much it costs because they can still fucking pay for it. I assume it would probably be that. It seems like that's a conservative estimate. You know what I mean? Having a minimum week of work and hiring a writer during post-production is part of the $500 million. Yeah, I mean, it's wild to consider that, like, it's close to one CEO's salary. Like, it's close to the fucking William Morris Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel's salary. It would come from profits. For the AI, they want to regulate the use of artificial intelligence on MBA-covered projects. AI can't write or rewrite literary material. Can't be used as a source material. And MBA-covered material can't be used to train AI. That's a perfectly reasonable fucking thing. They're not saying AI can't work, okay? Like, they're not saying that, like, writers can't utilize AI. They're saying that studios can't utilize AI to substitute for writers or offer rewrites. Can you imagine getting a rewrite from fucking ChatGPT? Are you insane? I'd lose my fucking mind, dude. Each member of a team gets P&H contributions as if they were writing as an individual. Tentative agreement, script fees for staff writers. They receive script fees on top of their weekly span increase, span cap from 400,000 to 450. Basic cable to remain at 375. Extend span protection for writers on limited series. Options and exclusivity increase earnings cap from 325,000 to 350,000. P&H diversion, WGA option to divert 5.5% of negotiated minimums increase to pensioner health. So important framing for talk about money and profits with respect to the WGA. I just feel like it's the writer's job to create stuff that gets eyeballs, and it's the executive's jobs to turn eyeballs into money. So there's not enough money, then executives should get fired, right? Because the writers are for sure doing their job. Literally all I do is watch TV. We can't hire more people because of math. Okay, so do other math. You went to business school. You're telling me you can't find a business solution? This is such a dumb take, but it's so true at the same time. Like the basic principles behind sentiment like this is totally valid. Whenever someone goes, we're having a hard time justifying revenue on the Twitch platform, that's why we need to do like a 50-50 sub split. I'm like, but your job is to find new ways of doing that. That doesn't harm the workers on the, the ones that are doing the labor on the platform. Like, what do you mean? Like, do the job that you're supposed to be doing. Do the job better. Like, that's crazy. But everyone is so used to just being like, nah, I'm going to show my belly. I'm going to capitulate. You know what I mean? Famous Actors Guild? What? Oh, this guy's writing FAG. Nice one, dude. I thought he was making a joke about, like, actors not being famous or some shit on Twitch. Good one, dude. You got it, dude. Fucking get wrecked. It's so funny because that's a Team America joke? Okay, maybe we'll unban him. But, like, this entire community is gay as fuck and say the F word so liberally. How are you going to fucking flub on a joke? How are you going to fucking flub on a joke that, like, is not landing in a community that loves saying the F word? Anyway, I had a day rate when I worked on SpongeBob. While my day rate was okay, they only had us in the room one day a week, and every Friday I would find out if I was coming back or not. I made $14K that year. That's what the studios want. Oh, that's fucking gross. According to the WGA, the negotiating committee, the studios are pushing for a day rate for comedy and variety writers. Truly horrifying. We won't survive something like that. It's similar to how nursing homes and hospitals cry about having trouble finding staff. They only want to give casual or part-time hours and no benefits. No wonder they can't hire or keep people. Yes, that is friend of the show, Josh Androsky. For anyone that wants to do stuff, what the WGA has so far asked for supporters to do: sign your org on to stand with the writers, share the facts in their social media toolkit for your friends and family, follow WGA for updates. 10 years ago, 33% of TV writers were paid minimum. Now half work at minimum. Entertainment segment operating profits in the billions went from $5 billion in profits in 2000 to $28 billion in 2021. It's crazy that the entertainment industry is the last place of labor power in America. WGA, Actors Equity, Screen Actors Guild, IATSE, please support your local theater and artists. I mean, it's not that crazy. It's that and sports, players unions.
It's a product of this corporate cannibalization, and our decreased, not even just stagnant wages, are making it impossible for anyone to put a career together.
Can you talk about what happens next? I mean, for people who watch TV, the late night shows will now go to tape. You had people like Colbert and others expressing support for the Writers Guild of America. Colbert is a member of the Writers Guild of America, showing pictures of all the writers saying we can't do it without them. So what happens now as you take to the streets, as you take to the picket line today across the country?
Yeah, writers are the backbone of this industry. Nothing gets made without us. And I think that the studios will be in for quite a rude surprise when they realize that though they do not value us or our contributions, they do not have a product without us. We will be at the studios protesting, or not protesting, picketing, and joining each other in solidarity so that we can all go through this as a guild. We are committed to making sure that all of our writers, make it to the other side of this, because we know there will be another side, because we know we're going to win. There is no industry without writers. We are the only generative people in this industry. Everything else is based on what is on that page. And if we're not putting anything on that page, there's nothing that anyone else can do.
Can you talk about the shows that will be affected, or is it everything across the board? And how does this affect the later season, which, of course, is going to put a lot of pressure on the...
Dude, why is it that they do this every time? Bro, you sign off every day at the same time. I eat every day at the same time. I promise you, if you look back at my stream, okay, you probably come in here at 2 p.m. Pacific, which is when I eat my lunch and only fucking meal that I eat on camera. And you come in here at the same time every day and you go, why is he always eating at the same time? Not realizing that I am a human being who streams for 8 fucking hours a day. And of course, I'm going to have to eat on camera in that process. Every other streamer does this. I don't assume that they get this much shit. Y'all rocking with eating lunch at lunchtime, dude? It's so dumb. People go crazy. XG barely eats. Bitch, that motherfucker eats his toenails. What do you mean?
Producers, the people who are demanding these shows. And what happened with deadlines? Did they move them up to get shows written before the strike?
Yeah, that was up to each individual writer, how much they were going to deal with people looking to have the materials turned in by yesterday. And, a lot of people wanted to turn their stuff in because then, if you complete your assignment, then they have to pay you, even though we'll be on strike, you will have completed your contract. So there was a lot of pressure on writers, and that shows exactly what our labor is worth. When we withhold our labor, people panic. People were scared that there wasn't going to be anything in the pipeline to go out and create, and that's true. We are going to continue to withhold our labor, and that means everything from not taking meetings to not putting anything in that pipeline to not showing up for work. And that means that shows might get delayed. I mean, Abbott Elementary was supposed to go back to the room this week. We are a show that writes while we air. And so if this strike goes on for a significant period of time, our show will not come out on time. And that could change the amount of episodes, which people, I'm sure, will be very upset about. It could change the air date. It could change a lot of different things, because there just will not be things going into that pipeline. There will not be us participating in anything that will bring profit to this industry. And that is going to cause a disruption. That's what we're counting on.
Finally, the 2007 strike, 2007, 2008, went on for 100 days.
100 days,
What did you gain from that strike? What did you accomplish?
So I was not part of that strike. I was, I think, still a teenager at that point. But one of the things that we gained was domain over the internet. That's when all of these streaming services were first popping up, and, YouTube was a thing. And what the studios were saying was that you all should not have any payment for anything that goes online. So, we're used to them saying that we should not have.
Can you imagine? Like, this is what I mean. This is why it makes me so mad when I look at striking workers and people getting mad at them and acting like they're asking for so much. It's always the same shit. It's always the same shit. DVD sales are invented, okay? And then the studios are like, nah, this is our work, actually. We did it all by ourselves. I know it's still your work that we're putting on the DVD, but it's actually my work now, I decided. You know what I mean? It's like, what? What do you mean? I put in work into that. You can't just, what? And then online streaming services come out. And they're like, I made this now. I can just put it on an online streaming service, and it's my work now, actually. I'm just going to keep all the profits. It's like, wait, no. It's the same fucking work. It's the same work. If you're distributing it on other network television shows, or if you're putting it on a fucking DVD, it's still the same work. You retain a piece of those profits.
Hey, man, did you make this? This is really funny.
Yeah, I did. I can't believe how many people like it.
I made this.
What?
I made this video.
No.
I made this. I made
No.
this
You
video.
posted this. No.
I made this video. This is mine. This was I created this video. I did the hardest work.
And they pulled the entire series when they're tired of paying residuals, i.e. Westworld. Yeah, there's that too. But
have access to our fair cut of the pie, because they've done it every 3 years for the entirety of the existence of our union. And if we had not made those gains, if we had not gone on...
What did they concede to the writers' just demands and bump subscription prices to avoid management pay cuts and blame the union? Any way to counteract, they agree to shift the blame? They can't do that. They usually can't do that. They'll say it's because of that anyway, but they already started doing that. Like, they already started fucking doing that. Okay? What streamer platform hasn't talked about a pay hike or like reducing the number of fucking IPs that can be on it? You know what I mean? Like reducing the number of like TVs that can be on it in the same family program or whatever. They're all doing it anyway. They're going to do that regardless. And then now they're going to blame it on the fucking writers, while also not giving the writers any of the fucking profits. That's the point. That's why it's fucking bullshit. A lot of those increases in what you pay for do not happen because of the writers potentially striking. They happen regardless. They happen why? Because they can get away with it. What do I always tell you? Companies will do whatever the fuck they can. Whatever they can get away with, they are going to do. HBO is going up to like $20 a month for 100% ad-free, and they announced that well before the strike. Yep. I'm sick and tired of everybody going, oh, what do you always say? Oh, get nukes. No, that's not what I always say. I have said that. I've said that quite a lot, but that's not the only thing I always say. I say a lot of things over and over again. Okay? I repeat myself quite a bit.
Strike and put our foot down back then, there wouldn't be television writers now. We've already seen, how important it is for us to stand up for ourselves, because could you imagine all of the streaming shows that you know and love, writers not making any money off of those? That was the future that the studios wanted. They want to continue to push us down and bully us. And it's not even a matter of we don't want it to happen. We can't let it happen, or television writers will no longer be a thing. Television staffs will no longer be a thing, because no one will be able to afford it.
And before we go, if you can talk about your own show, the amazing Abbott Elementary, about the Philadelphia teachers, the show's...
Okay, Amy Goodman literally loves this show. You can tell. God, she's such a queen. I love her so much. She's my favorite lib. And she's not a liberal. Obviously, she's like far beyond that. But like, she does have a lot of lib aesthetic decisions that she makes, and I'll allow it. She's the GOAT. She is the queen. She is my queen. She is such a wonderful, kind soul.
His first season was nominated for 7 primetime Emmys, winning 3. Why it is so important to see shows like yours, Brittany?
I think that, right now, a lot of workers are feeling really downtrodden. I mean,
have you ever watched Abbott Elementary? I have not.
I think that, the issues that we're facing are rampant all across this country. And a show like Abbott, where you're seeing, working class people trying to do their best, it is a show where you can get some form of relief, some form of release. That's important. People want to be able to enjoy the time off that they have from performing labor. And we're lucky enough that our labor is what allows people to do that. And we want to get back to doing that. We want to get back to providing people an outlet, letting people have something to enjoy.
Supreme Chancellor Andy, thank you for the 30.
Enjoy and have something to look forward to.
Brittany Nichols, want to thank you for being...
I'll be honest with you, okay?
Hey everyone, I'm the editor. Thanks for watching till the end. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, then please drop a like and subscribe. Why not leave a Kaya L in the comments down below so that I know that you reached this point of the video? If you'd like more content like this one, then check the video up here on top of my head, or literally in front of my face right here.